Hey guys, do you have a bunch of random nail strips lying around? Maybe you have some twosie packs laying around, or those teeny tiny pinky nails that you don't use, or maybe you have some thumbnails that you don't ever use either, so maybe you only use one of the thumb sizes and don't need them both. Well, this might be the manicure for you. So really, you don't need a fresh manicure. If you have a manicure that's a little bit old, like I actually did this one on top of my current manicure, and I've already been wearing it for a week. So if you're kind of bored with a manicure, this could be a really good accent nail to try out, is just doing one nail with the geode on it, and it might really kind of spark your nail. So like I said, this is the Geode manicure. It's been very, very popular all over the place lately, and I wanted to show you how to do it. So what do you need? Well, you need a nail file first. The grittier, the better. I'm using an Orly nail file. This is for their builder, and so it's just basically like an acrylic, and it's for shaping the builder. So it's very, very gritty, and it will grind away at stuff well. Honestly, this cheap little nail file, little emery board, works really, really good too. Probably a fresh crystal nail file. I've had this one for over 6 months, and it's lost a little bit of its grit. I need to throw it in the dishwasher and wash it up, and it would probably work better. Yes, you can throw these in the dishwasher. And then you need some leftover nail strips, and you need a liquid top coat. People are using the plumper to make it really like plump up and pop. I don't have a plumper, and I didn't feel like going to get any, so I'm just going to use my regular nail polish. But to get the best look, really using a plumper is going to work best. Optional is to have nail polish remover and a cuticle stick. So I did a lot of research, and I looked through a lot of people's posts on who have done this before and saw what they did. Most people used a nail file. There's one person who used nail polish remover and a Q-tip. So I tried both out, and I actually like using a combo, but I'm going to show you how to use both. I felt like a combo of the two worked really well. So I've already done it once. This isn't probably the best, to be honest, but it was my first time trying it out, and I've kind of learned a few things from it. So let me pop over and let me show you how to do this. Okay, so like I said, you need some leftover nail strips. So I already have the Tokyo Lights and the Himalayan salt on my fingers already. So I just took some other things that kind of were complementary towards it and threw it on there. So I realized I didn't quite use enough contrast on mine, because between the Seattle Royale, the Tokyo Lights, and then this little strip that I used, there wasn't really a whole lot of contrast. So I probably used a little more. The Tokyo Lights and the Seattle kind of all blended together. So try something with a little more contrast to them. Also, most people are using a really, really dark solid, and I have this bright blue, which was probably, it looks a little too bright. I'm not disappointed with the look, but it definitely could be better. Okay, so I actually created my own little sample pack. I already did this once, and I'm going to show you how to layer it, and then I'm going to show you how to file it. So this is something you can do if you have leftover packs like that, and you want to create some little sample packs with like some leftovers. Just I have a whole bunch of these just laying on my desk ready for me to do samples, because most of the time I'm not going to use a whole mani pack. And then stuff like the little pinky nail and the big thumbnail, I know I'm not going to use that again, so I'll just throw them in their own little sample packs like this, where there's just a couple. That way you're not opening and closing a packet a bunch of times if I'm not going to use it. I'm using Tokyo Lights, Seattle Royale. This is, I don't even remember what this is called. This was a leftover petite Valentine set that I can't think of right now. And I'm using some leftover Maui Mystic. I only had a couple left over. Both of these are retired sets, and they were just old and sitting around. I figured, why not? So that's what I'm using. And again, I feel like there wasn't enough contrast between these three. So I'm just throwing that out there. Okay. So let's layer it first. And of course, I forgot a prep pad. But, oh, nope, I do. I totally have a prep pad. Okay, great. So use your prep pad first. It's always rule number one. And I'm going to show you how to layer it on my pinkies. And then I'm going to show you how to file using this nail that I already have set up here. Okay? So you don't have to have, one thing about it is you're putting 5 layers of these on your nails. So you don't actually have to have any full strip that fits except your top layer. Okay? Because it gets really thick when you layer that many nail strips over each other. I'm trying to think of what order I did these in. So most people are alternating a solid, a glitter, a solid, a glitter, a solid. So that's kind of what I did as well. So I started off with the Himalayan salt, which I've already had on here for about a week. And then I think next I did the Seattle, but I think I'm going to switch it around. So I'm going to do Tokyo Lights first. It really doesn't matter at the end of the day. So the thing is, I'm using these smaller strips. This one actually is about right for my pinky, but on this one you can kind of see where it's lumped up a little bit, which don't worry, that's going to be taken care of when I do it. It's because I just layered it on the part that I'm going to be filing. So say that I just want this like on this edge over here, but I'm not going to do the geode over here. That's the only side that I'm going to do it on. So I'm just kind of putting it on the side there. You can do a full layer. There is nothing wrong with that. It's just going to be a little bit thicker of a manicure, which sometimes can get a little bit annoying, which is why I was avoiding it. So we're really just gonna layer. So I'm gonna do that. And like I said, the only layer that needs to be the size is your last layer, which for me is the Maui Mystic here. Solid next. Okay, so one thing is with your last layer here, you want to make sure that it's covering up the entire thing. So make sure that it's covering everything, every other layer on there. Also, I just thought about the fact that when I was picking my strips, the Seattle Royale, I wasn't really thinking about the fact that it is kind of a sheer strip. So that probably wasn't the best idea for the geode, since I'm going to want all those different layers showing through very well. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my rubber cuticle stick and I'm going to rub down everything very, very well. Make sure I'm rubbing all those layers together and smooth out. And you want to go ahead and clear off any excess here. Okay, so one of the reasons this takes so long is now I'm actually going to want to let that cure for several hours. Because remember, I just put 5 layers of 5% wet nail strip on here. So you're going to want to wait until those are dry. People are saying they're waiting overnight, but it really just needs several hours to cure. So I did this one this morning. You can see I've already done my geode. So let's get work on this one that's already been set up. Okay, so I got those on there. They do look a little funky because I have all the layers. So there we go. Let's get to work. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my gritty nail file. And this does take a while, but I'm going to try to want to get most of where that lump is kind of started. I at least want that first top layer to show through. Also, it's better to work your finger back and forth than to work the nail file back and forth. You'll thank me for that later. Okay, so you see where I've got it kind of started. It's actually got a really nice shape, a lot better than how I started. This one was a really rounded shape and I had to kind of fix it. This one's already got kind of a funky shape going on, which I like. Now I do try to bring it all the way to the end. You can just do an oval here, but I personally am not a fan of that look. And I also know that this is a thicker nail strip, so if I kind of bring it all the way to the edge, the tip of my nail isn't going to be as thick here. So, I'm going to keep filing a little bit. This is time consuming, I won't lie to you, but I'm also going to take my nail polish remover. This is Mineral Fusion, which is the one I recommend for everything, non-acetone. And you just dip your little cuticle stick in it. Your cotton stick. Q-tip. You're going to take your Q-tip and you can actually run it along here to kind of start breaking that strip down a little bit too. What this is really nice for, what I discovered when I was doing this one and I had those rounded edges, is it's really nice for kind of detailing out the shape of your geode. So you can get the edges kind of nice and different shape, especially with that top coat being a solid. You can really start to get some cleared away pretty easy with this. So I'm going to kind of go ahead and bring it to the edges where I want it. And I'm just kind of doing little circles to kind of get a more jagged look. One of the prettier ones I saw actually started at the edge and worked their way this way. And I think I'm going to try that on this one. So I'm going to go ahead and take all this top layer off over here and try to make the center of my geode on the edge of my nail rather than a center. Like how I did that, the center is right there. You can see the Himalayan salt peeking through. I'm going to do the center on the side over here and see how that looks. So let's give that a shot. All right, let it dry a little bit and then I'm going to start working again for another layer. Okay, so I'm going to try to clear this up a little just so you can see. But I'm actually getting that kind of at the plaza color from the petite strip showing through. So I know I've broken through the Seattle and I'm at this petite strip right here. I can kind of see that starting to peek through on the edge here. I've kind of broken down to where I'm at the Himalayan salt layer right there. So I'm going to want to be a little bit more careful. And this is where I probably will pull out my Q-tip and kind of work my Q-tip a little bit to try to get more of, I can see the Tokyo lights a little bit there. And then I can see that at the plaza a little bit. And like I said, my contrast isn't the best because I probably should have used a little bit different color nail strips. So I'm just going to kind of work this in a circle to kind of get it more in the shape of that original geode over there. So now I've kind of got, you probably can't see it too well, but I do have the Tokyo lights kind of showing through a little bit more on this edge. So I'm just kind of designing it at this point. I've kind of got it filed. I'm probably going to use my Q-tip the rest of the way. You could keep filing at this point, but I feel like there's a little more precision in the Q-tip. Okay, I lied. I'm going to use my Q-tip or my nail file. I'm going to kind of blow it off and let it dry a little bit because it is kind of liquidy right now. And then I'm going to use my nail file to kind of get down a little more Himalayan salt on this edge piece. Okay, so I'm just trying to work into that same shape that I have on the outline of the geode a little bit. Try to get a little bit more of the Tokyo lights peeking through. I've got a nice amount of that Himalayan salt peeking through, and I'm just going to try to get that Tokyo lights to show a little bit more. I probably should have brought another Q-tip up here that was cleaner, because I'm getting a lot of blue back on it. Let's use this side over here. I'm trying not to touch the Himalayan salt so that I don't take it off. Okay, I'm starting to get more pink from that Tokyo lights coming along the edges of the pink. There we go, that's looking a lot better. And I know you can't see quite as well as I can. You can't see the glitter being picked up, but below the Seattle I am starting to get more of that Tokyo lights pink showing through. And this is where more contrast would have been better. That looks, I actually like that a lot better than this over here. So, because I really didn't want near as much of that blue. I felt like the blue was a little much with the rest of my manicure. So I'm going to kind of trying to bring the pink a little over to the edge of the pink to where that lip isn't as obvious. Which if you have a plumper, that's not going to matter near as much, because that plumper is going to help get rid of that gap too. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy with it. Again, that at the plaza strip, there's really not a lot of difference between it and the Tokyo lights and the Seattle, so it's not as easily seen. So get more contrast, and it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with where it's at the moment for the color choices that I made. So that's about it for that. And then your plumper gel would be really nice at this point to kind of fill in those gaps there. Okay, so I'm going to take my nail polish next. And what I did here is I put kind of a big glob in there where the center was, and then just kind of left it alone for a second to even out, and then I went over the coat. With this being on the side, it's going to be a little harder, but I'm going to dip straight down into the polish, and I'm not going to shake it off on the side so that I can get a big drop to kind of fill in that gap there. And then I'm going to go back over it with a full coat. And just bring the coat around it, because if you bring the coat over it, you're going to make that big lump that you did go away, and you want to kind of keep it. So that looks so much better. anyway, I'm actually overall pretty pleased with it. This was a great way to spice up the mani that I had that I was kind of bored with. I love Tokyo Lights. Himalayan Salt wasn't quite doing it for me, and Tokyo Lights goes with everything, so it actually goes pretty nice with this Maui Mystic. I'm impressed. So that's it. All I got for you right now. If you have any questions, drop them below. If you have a video you want me to make and want me to try something, send me a picture of what you'd like me to try. You can email it to me, send it to me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you got me, you can send it to me. Links are all below. And I'm happy to make more videos, so let me know what you want to look at. I hope you enjoyed the Geode Mani, and I hope it helped you out.